Good morning, La Casa de Cristo, and all watching here on our live stream. A very special welcome to you this morning. It is the season of Advent, and we couldn't be happier to usher in a brand new season here in the life of our church together. More on that in just a moment, but this is that which takes place in between the before and the after. This is the Interlude. So yes, Sunday, December 1st, 2024. It is a new season of the church year. As we shared last week in worship, this is not only a new season, but an entirely new church year in the church liturgical calendar. So starting today, we start a brand new church year. Advent is the first season. We are expecting and hoping the arrival of our King, which we will soon celebrate on Christmas Day. And then we go into the whole rest of the church year. So you'll notice this morning in worship, if you were at the 8 a.m. service or maybe about to tune in for the 9:15 service, we have all kinds of special things happening in our worship service today in celebration of the Advent season. We got a brand new Stay Connected. You're going to see that right at the beginning of worship. We have some special music in worship, and of course, a wonderful message from Pastor Jeff. Speaking of the special music, we have Dr. Peterman with us today. Good morning, Dr. Peterman.
Morning, Pastor Matt.
We do have a special music for the season of Advent, and we're standing actually amongst the instruments now. So tell us what these new instruments are that we have here.
Today we decided to integrate our low chimes, which we just procured a few weeks ago. And in order for our main ringer, Michael, to really get familiar with these and maybe to welcome in some others occasionally, we thought, why not just throw them into our opening hymn and liturgy? The more you play, the better and more confident you're going to get. So these are our new low chimes, and they come on rolling racks. We're still working on how to get them to cease rolling as we mallet them. The wheels aren't as steady as we want, but there's always room for making things bigger and better. So this is almost an entire octave. You never buy a full octave. It goes from C2 to B2, and then we have extra chimes that continue on up. So these are the lowest bells or chimes that we have in our set right now. And you have to mallet them with special mallets. This fluffy woods lamb's wool mallet is for the lowest of the chimes. I'm going to play it. You're not going to hear it, I'm pretty sure. It sounds about 30 feet away. Interesting. You got to trust. And our ringer, Michael, he's experimenting with various ways of damping the sound, but this is the first mallet. And then the other mallet is for our smaller set. So this ends at F sharp 2, and then you swing around here. And for the upper part of that low octave is G sharp. And as you can see, the white and black notes, they just like a piano, you have C sharp, D sharp, E and F are the white notes, F sharp. So if you're kind of swinging blindly, Michael, well, I don't want to give away all of his plans, but you can kind of look peripherally and hopefully hit the right white or black note if you know what's coming, especially if you don't have time to look around very quickly.
So the sound is just a very low rumble, is what I hear.
It's almost more of a feeling.
Yes.
You can discern a pitch, but in the midst of everything going on, it's more going to rumble in your gut. Just like some of the organ pipes. Yeah, you can't quite tell what the heck it is, but you sure do feel it.
I want to ask about that other mallet, the first one that you held there. That's lamb's wool, you said?
Lamb's wool. I assume it's real lamb's wool. If you buy this separately, I went online perusing last night just to see various types of mallets. You buy one mallet at a time. Now, these came with the set, so the package deal. But this itself is $110.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, lamb's wool, 110. I forget I'm not going to lie to you and tell you what this may or may not be, but I was surprised at the cost of mallets.
Now, these chimes made their debut last weekend in worship, and they don't just suddenly appear. Tell us the story about how these came. Did you decide we need new instruments, or what's behind that?
Funny you should mention that. It was through our Interlude. Well, I had some goals of procuring low bells or chimes, but didn't really know how to do it. So I just thought, I'm going to spread my wishes out there. I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell Connor. I'm going to tell everybody about it, and then see what happens. And then, can keep on. Some lady, a month later, if not a month and a half, just called me at home. I don't know how she got my cell phone number, and I'm grateful she did. She asked, could I donate towards those chimes? And sure enough, about 2 months later, you have to go. They don't just have these waiting around. They have to make the cases and whatnot. So about 2 months later, we finally got them. So yeah, it was all through the Interlude. So keep on watching.
Fantastic. Great audience. Keep on going. So, and you mentioned Michael. Michael's right here. Michael, jump in here, because I saw that you were the one in worship actually playing this instrument. Tell us about how that came to be. How did you get into this spot of playing these?
Well, over the summer, Jeremy, I was at the aquarium with my daughter, and Jeremy said, "Would you like to play bass bells tonight?" And they were, if you recall, and I think there were some pictures put out on social media, big giant bass bells, very heavy. So when I said, "Jeremy, if you get a set of those, I would be happy to join the bell choir," and so these came along earlier. And I know we've ordered, I think, 3 or 4 of the big bass bells as well. So just happy to do it. Happy to be here with my fiance, Lisa. Her daughter and my daughter are all very active in the choirs, and happy to be here. So we're going to need some more ringers for the new bells that are going to be here after the first of the year.
So last week, when it was your first time in worship playing these new chimes, tell us what that was like as you stand up here before the whole congregation. What is it like to play these chimes up here?
Well, I was a trumpet player, so different clef. So I'm getting used to bass clef and reading bass clef. But Jeremy makes it easy for me. So because we don't have a lot of music that's already written for these, Jeremy just writes in the music. So that makes it a little less nerve-wracking for me. But especially when you're going back from one side to the other, sometimes I'll look and I'm like, oh, I think I missed one. But
well, that's super interesting. So the music for these particular instruments here is not included in the rest of the bell ensemble. So this has to be written in?
Yeah, Jeremy takes the music that the rest of the bell choir would play and writes it in. For today, he wrote it in a special piece because obviously the rest of the bell choir is not here. So yeah, Jeremy writes the parts for me.
Now we want to hear you play the instrument too. So go ahead and take that mallet there, Michael, and show us what you do.
And we're experimenting with different ways to dampen. You can damp by putting the mallet on top. You can damp by more of a choking of it, or, and I'm trying not to touch these, that's why we have gloves back here. You can do them softly so it's not so abrupt, and it gives it a softer fade if you just kind of touch it like that, or even put the mallet on it like that. So a lot of different ways. Like Jeremy said, we're experimenting on a bunch of different things.
Very good. How many years have you been a part of the church here, Michael?
We joined in 2009, so a little over 15.
Very good. And have you always played some kind of instrument? You mentioned the trumpet, or is this fairly new for your part in La Casa de Cristo?
This is brand new for me. Jeremy had me do chimes last spring. We did that. So yeah, I'm just kind of getting back into it.
Very good. You mentioned your fiancée. Let's bring her on in here because she is also on one of the instruments today. And this is a fun one. Lisa, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pastor.
So glad to have you on the Interlude. Tell us the story behind this. What is it? How did it come to be here? There's an interesting story behind this, right?
A little bit, yeah. This is called a steel drum, or also a steel pan. It's a lead pan, so it typically is responsible for the melody and parts. We used to live in Prescott, and I had a friend that I was helping out a little bit, and she said, "Oh, I got to go to practice. I play in the steel drum band." I was like, "Oh, can I please just come listen?" Because I just love that. I vacationed in Jamaica, and that sound, I mean, it just transports you instantly to the ocean.
Yes.
Palm trees are waving, and it's just a very happy, relaxing, happy sound. So I attended the rehearsal with her, and the director was like, "Well, we have an extra pan. Would you like to?" Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh, wow.
So when I say this, I play a lot of instruments. This is the most humbling instrument for me to learn how to play. It's not in a chromatic as the chimes or a piano. It's not set up chromatically. It's a Pythagorean circle of fifths. I won't bore you with all of that. but it's very challenging. But it's fun.
Let's see if Connor's on the camera. See if he can get in here and see the inside of the pan here, because I can see the notes written right on there. Is there a lot of tuning involved for this instrument?
Yes, and that takes a very special individual. These originated in the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, so that's where they are mostly manufactured, and the tuners have come from the islands to America and all over Europe. It's been widespread now, and they use like a ball peen hammer and beat on it, because it is, you've got the concave of the oil drum. Essentially, they're from 55-gallon oil drums, and then you've got the convex of the notes. So to make that ball peen hammer tunes it, I can't do it, but
Now we want to hear the sound, Lisa. So if I hold your microphone, will you play a little bit for us?
Okay.
And Lisa, this is your steel drum, correct?
Yes, this is
your personal drum. Beautiful. It's a beautiful sound.
It is. It's so happy, and
Yeah.
like I said, it transports you to a nice tropical place.
It's like this morning here at La Casa de Cristo. We're on the beach,
Yes.
watching the waves come in. Yes, I love it. Now, Lisa, I'm going to tell you a secret.
Okay.
If you promise not to tell Jeremy, okay?
Okay,
You
I'm
can't
all
tell
ears.
Jeremy, okay? And you can't tell Jeremy either. I was in the steel drum band in high school.
Hey!
No. No, you are the queen here, the queen. But remember what you agreed to. Do not tell Jeremy. Okay?
Okay. Do you have a pan at home?
No,
Can we jam out?
I wish.
together?
I wish. I'm not as skilled as you are, having your own personal pan at home and being able to play like that.
Well, the band that I played with in Prescott disbanded. Ooh, that's a horrible pun, but disbanded, and we were all given the opportunity to purchase our pans if we wanted to do so. Now, the bass set, as you will know, is a set of 6 oil drums, so that's a lot. So I purchased my own pan just
Very
to have
good.
and bust out whenever Jeremy wants it.
So tell us about the piece that you're playing today in conjunction with the rest of the ensemble here.
I will be accompanying the choir, and it's a very calypso-feeling piece. It's called "In a Manger," and yeah, it's a fun song to play with.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. We hope that you get to see a lot more in the future. Jeremy, come back in here. Hope you weren't listening to our conversation we just had, but jump back in here.
I was plugging my ears, so I didn't hear that part. But I remember about 5-6 years, I can't remember how long Lisa's been here, but when she first joined the bell choir, she happened to mention that she played the steel drum. And that's been in my head ever since. And I have been trying to figure out how are we going to get that into service. Well, finally, our offertory for today, it felt calypso-y. And so I asked Lisa, you want to join us? I finally found something that you can participate with. And she said yes. And then a new task, I had to figure out, how do you write for what are the instructions for writing for steel drums? So I just wrote it out and said, Lisa, if there's anything wrong with it, let me know. And she said, oh, it's perfect. So I guess I'm now an aficionado writing for steel drums and anything else. But I really love it when people tell me that they have a particular musical talent in their background and to be able to integrate them into the service, because sooner or later it will happen. You will be playing a duet on steel drums at some point. You
Well,
didn't
for
ask.
all of you, jump on in anytime too. Thank you, Jeremy. When is the Messiah sing-along?
It is this Friday at, I believe, 7 o'clock. Is that? Yep.
And remind us of the weekend of the cantata.
The following weekend, the 14th and 15th. A lot going on. I don't think we'll have steel drums, but everything else.
Very good. It's a great season of Advent here. We're making Advent wreaths on campus today. We also got Journey Through Bethlehem coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All kinds of great things going on here on campus. So come on down, join the fun. Thank you for joining us this morning. This has been The Interlude.